his career against the Mountaineers, he has been pretty good. 50 assists and 8 turnovers against this press Virginia team. But Monte will tell you he hasn't been good. He said, I've been way too hesitant. I've been back on my heels. When I talked to Coach Huggins, he said, I don't feel like we've even really affected Monte Morris. So it will be a battle of wills between Press Virginia and Monte Morris wanting to assert his will on his team tonight.
Well, Holly, it's time to take a look at our starting lineups brought to you by Can-Am. And Monte Morris, he racks up assists because he has a lot of finishers out on the court alongside.
And these finishers, particularly Thomas and Mitru Long, are trying to win their 3rd Big 12 tournament title in 4 years.
Should be a great head-to-head matchup as well, as Monte Morris might be as talented a point guard as there is in America, but he will be going head-to-head with the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year in Jevon Carter.
Exactly, and Miles will have a piece of him, and every guard off the bench will as well for Bob Huggins.
The last time Bob Huggins' team won a conference title, it was in 2010 in the Big East. Iowa State, no strangers to the championship game at the Phillips 66 Big 12 championship. This is their 3rd trip in 4 years, and both of their previous trips in this stretch, they've won the title. They won it in 2014, they won it in 2015, and they're back again this year. West Virginia owns the tip, and Monte Morris wants Hilton South to be hurt, and they will be all afternoon.
West Virginia will go inside as much as possible all night. They have dominated the paint in the first 2 wins.
Point blank range, Elijah Macon missed, but then he was able to put back his own miss for the game's first points.
And what you want to watch when they score is Daxter Miles is going to keep the ball from Morris and try to slow down that offense. Basically, Bob tried to cut the head of the snake off.
Monte Morris dribbling the shot clock down. 5 to shoot. He'll try a 3. A good box out. Grabbing the loose ball was Elijah Macon.
A lot of standing around on that first Cyclone possession. West Virginia has pounded the ball inside in the first 2 games.
They do just that with Issa Ahmad. Held ball. Possession arrow gives it to Iowa State. Steve Prohm in only his 2nd year at Iowa State, but he has proved his mettle in championship games as well. He was a 2-time Ohio Valley Conference Coach of the Year when he was at Murray State. Mitru Long with the crossover and the finger roll.
You got to be careful if you're West Virginia. They spent so much time on that possession, keeping the ball out of Morris's hands. Basically, Iowa State played 4-on-4, and Mitru Long able to get to the basket.
Wing jumper on the way, and it goes down for Daxter Miles.
You see the first few possessions, Morris does not have the ball.
Deonte Burton, a little too strong. Solomon Young tips it. The officials, Joe DeRosa specifically, saying it's off Solomon Young. Adrian tried to go down low and get one to Macon, picked off by Deonte Burton.
Adrian's got Morris last couple possessions, and he's just shadowing him. I think if you're Iowa State, at some point, the ball's got to get back in his hands.
Young couldn't handle the pass from Deonte Burton.
Take a look, Bob. This is part of the strategy. They're going to limit his touches as much as possible. It does open up the drive, but at some point, if you're Monte Morris, you have to come back and grab the ball so that you can run offense.
Ahmad to Macon.
That's a huge advantage right now. And how good has Macon been over the last 5 games?
Morris drives, spins, and hits the floater. Beautiful move from Monte Morris. Adrian for 3. True long. Thought about a 3. And his partner in crime is Matt Thomas. They can rain down threes along with Morris. And Deonte Burton's become a good three-point shooter as well.
He sure has. Talked to the West Virginia staff before the game. They realize Burton is a make-or-miss guy. He's going to keep shooting.
Morris, line drive.
Carter 1 for 12 last night. He really struggled, but his drives to the basket in the second half got the offense going.
Carter for 3. Yes, Jevon Carter. A whistle and a stoppage. Looks like Doug Sermon's going to head over to the scorer's table, so we'll step aside for just a moment while he does that. Great start for West Virginia as they've got the early 6-point lead.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball, and Northwestern Mutual.
State told his team they were being way too passive against this press. He said, we've got to be aggressive. You go where you want to go. He thinks that Monte Morris has got to do a better job getting into his gaps quicker. He's drifting out towards the three-point line instead of going right down the lane below the elbow. He wants them to dictate where they go, not have West Virginia push them where they want them.
This time Morris aggressive coming over to get his hands on the ball.
Yes, but look at West Virginia's done. They put the 6'8 freshman Lamont West on him to harass him.
Tough entry pass thrown away. A rare Monte Morris turnover. Tariq Phillip cruises in, shut down by Mitru Long. By the way, just as we went to break, the reason for the whistle was a Daxter Miles delay of game warning. He messed with the basketball after Jevon Carter knocked down the 3. So one more delay of game warning against West Virginia. It wouldn't be a warning anymore. It'd be a technical foul.
It would be a Class B technical. And West Virginia, you know, Dax just trying to play the game, because if you can slow down the press offense and set your press up, it's certainly an advantage.
Carter splits the defense, lays it in.
That's what he did in the second half, Bob. Remember how anemic the offense was. 6 for 32 in the first half, and he willed his way to the basket.
Mitru Long. He'll go to the line. First foul on Brandon Watkins.
Here's what I've noticed, Bob. Kansas State really attacked that West Virginia press last night. I really think if you can't get it to Morris early, that you got to do exactly what Mitru Long just did, and that is just attack the basket. Burton caught that ball. He hesitated. And I think if you're going to get West Virginia playing 94 feet, you got to make them pay at the other end.
2 misses for an 81% free throw shooter. So a lackadaisical start for Iowa State.
West Virginia does not take bad shots. Good ball movement.
Shot clock at 3. West. That won't go. That's a shot Iowa State will certainly live with. Morris, floater is perfect. Morris with the steal. Mitru Long. He's got 2. Deonte Burton creates the turnover. Here comes Mitru Long. Throws it away.
Watch what Morris has done the last 2 plays. First, moving without the ball. Gets some daylight, hits the floater, and this is a great play in transition. He lets Thomas clear because he doesn't have the angle to throw it to him because he knows Mitru Long is right behind him. Good decision-making there by the senior.
Donovan Jackson on for the first time as Matt Thomas sits down for the Cyclones. And here comes the Big 12 6th man of the year, Tariq Phillip, running the point now for West Virginia. Mitru Long just about took it away from West.
Mountaineers trying to go inside again. They call it a triangle. 3 inside, 3 bigs.
Under 10 to shoot once again. Nathan Adrian, 5 on the timer, hands it off. Now gets it back and hits a floater of his own.
Good decision by Tavon Myers. Hit Adrian in stride. Adrian did not charge. West Virginia continuing to deny Morris. 3rd defender who's guarded him tonight.
Morris for 3. Mitru Long tipped it, but it ends up in the hands of Brandon Watkins. Adrian for 3. Short. Reach-in foul call on Tavon Myers. It's the Phillips 66 Big 12 championship game. Iowa State and West Virginia playing for the hardware and to cut down the nets here in Kansas City. One seeds potentially on the line tonight in either of the other 2 championship games.
Maybe the Pac-12 championship. Oregon regular season champ. Joe Lunardi said that even if they're the 1 seed, Gonzaga the 2, it's not going to change a lot. But for Duke, they're playing as well as they played all season long. They're really starting to play to the great potential they showed before the season as the #1 team in the country in the preseason polls.
Well, coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to talk to Joey Brackets. We'll head to the Infinity Bracket Bunker. Mitru Long comes up short. Tavon Myers runs it down.
West Virginia's game plan defensively so far really good. 4 different defenders are wearing Monte Morris out, and they're forcing tough shots.
The flip, not there for Konate, and the follow, nearly there for Lamont West, skied to the rim. Now Mitru Long turns it over. Adrian cruises in and throws it down himself.
Seen this before. Adrian in the right spot, poked it loose.
Jackson, blocked by Konate. Out of bounds points for the Mountaineers.
Watch Adrian, he stays in that press, working around. A quick flick of the hand, and then the finish at the other end. Morgantown's finest. The senior has come a long way in 4 years.
Is there any player in this league that impacts the game in more ways where it doesn't show up in the box score than Nathan Adrian?
I don't think so this season. Landon Lucas is close, Bob. We know that. There's guys on teams that are winning that don't get the credit that they deserve. Every winning team, and he's one of them.
Burton with a takeaway. Can't finish it. Konate gets the block. Weiler-Babb follows. He's got a chance for a three-point play. Konate goes from the block to committing a foul.
Yeah, watch the timing here. Just waits, gets it right before the board, and then Nick Weiler-Babb, the sophomore, transfer from Arkansas, made some big plays in this tournament, Bob. One of the things I've said about this guy all year is Steve Probe comfortable with him because he doesn't make mistakes. Konate, the freshman, getting a talking to, but you love his energy.
Weiler-Babb had 9 total points in the 8 games leading up to yesterday's semifinal. He had 8 against TCU alone. Foul in the corner. And Joe DeRosa goes over and has something to say to Donovan Jackson. As he was whooping with Tavon Myers, Jackson picks up the foul. Let's see how Iowa State functions with Monte Morris on the bench for the time being. Good hands by Bowie. Carter for 3. Strong rebound by Darrell Bowie. Weiler-Babb tries to go coast to coast, sets up Jackson. Got it.
Jackson loves that spot. He beat Kansas from there.
Reach-in foul on Mitru Long. Or was it? Hilton South doesn't think so.
Yeah, watch this play by Weiler-Babb. He's going to go coast to coast. And Jackson in the corner, who's been a huge factor down the stretch for Iowa State. Now shooting 62% from 3 in the last 4 games, in the last 12 games. Monte Morris getting a few minutes of rest before the under-8 timeout.
Weiler-Babb with the reverse. Nice backdoor cut, breaking the 8-0 run was Dexter Miles.
Great delivery by Ahmad as well, Bob. They needed that.
Burton gives it up. Bowie takes the bump, plus the foul. Where will Iowa State and West Virginia end up in the NCAA tournament? A lot could be determined in this very game. Joey Brackets explains when we come back. Kansas City, and Joe Lunardi joins us now to talk about big picture where this conference may or may not go. in the NCAA tournament. And Joe, I'm going to start with our game here. West Virginia, Iowa State, where you have them currently. We just saw it, and where you think they could both end up based on the outcome of our championship game.
West Virginia is a 4 at this point, Bob, and Iowa State a 5. I think both teams, whoever wins it, have an opportunity to move up a full seed line based on this result, and also based upon what happens in the few championship games that are remaining. More likely, I think that West Virginia would move up with a win. Iowa State already moved up a line last night.
Joe, how well will Bruce Weber of Kansas State sleep the next 24 hours?
Oh, he's going to sleep horribly, Fran, regardless of what I say. But I do like the Wildcats' chances at this moment, and they dodged a bit of a bullet, at least one earlier today. Richmond took VCU into overtime in the Atlantic 10. A win by the Spiders would have guaranteed a bid disappearing, as at least a third A-10 team would have likely been in the field. There's still some more bid stealing opportunities out there in the American involving Middle Tennessee in Conference USA, but we're just about out of those chances now.
That's good news for Kansas State. And Joe Lunardi, we can't thank you enough for the help all week from the Infinity Bracket Bunker. Appreciate it.
You bet.
That teardropper won't go for Elijah Macon. Monte Morris and Matt Thomas back at the scorer's table, set to check back in. Jackson. And the long back tap ends up with Burton.
It's been a good 5-6 minute rest for Monte Morris as he checks back in.
Burton. Yes.
Yep. We've seen it all tournament and all conference. This guy is a hard matchup. It's hard to find one particular player to slow him down because of his versatility.
Great hands by Donovan Jackson. Boy, as he played well and allowed Morris this rest.
And I have to tell you, the turnovers by West Virginia right now, baffling.
Weiler-Babb had it stripped away from behind. That's an offensive foul called on Weiler-Babb. Issa Ahmad took the charge.
Remember, Monte Morris played 29 minutes last night in the blowout win over TCU, the least amount of minutes since December 5th.
He said it was a long time since he saw 29 or less in a box score after the game was over in terms of minutes played. Macon. Offensive rebound, Adrian. Javon Carter with the left hand.
We talked to Monte Morris after shoot-around today where it looked like he had a little extra pep in his step. Keep in mind, he's averaging almost 36 minutes a game. So to have just 29 on the score sheet, he said, I looked at that, it was under 30, it looked so good, but even more important, he said, his legs felt great coming into the game today.
Frank Mason was the only player in the Big 12 this year to average more minutes per game than Monte Morris.
And rightfully so, the two most valuable players in this entire conference.
Morris giving a lane to the basket, gives it up. Stripped away from Bowie. Weiler-Babb takes it back for Iowa State. Bowie on the drive. Plus the foul. Second foul on Adrian.
How about Darryl Bowie? The 50-year transfer from Northern Illinois. He's been in and out of the lineup for much of the year, and in this tournament, he's really given Steve Prohm a lift.
Well, Darryl Bowie had been a starter for much of the season, but then he had some problems. He became suspended after he wasn't doing quite what the coaches wanted, and then I asked him, I wondered how invested you were the rest of the season. He said, you know, it has been hard, but I came here for one reason, do something I've never done in my career, get to the NCAA tournament. He had 13 points in his first game here, guys. His contribution lets me know he is still all in for this Cyclone team.
He has given Iowa State their first lead.
I think those other players, besides the seniors, they know they have a responsibility to bring their effort up, and we've seen that from Jackson, Weiler Babb, Bowie, and Solomon Young in this tournament.
Thomas for three. West tries to answer. Long rebound to Matt Thomas. Clock winding down, 5 to shoot. Weiler Babb. West tries another triple. That one's way long. Third miss from behind the arc from Lamont West, under 4 minutes to go. Iowa State has their first lead, but this is a game so far being played at a West Virginia pace. Right now we're on target to have a final somewhere in the 60s. That favors the Mountaineers.
Ball out of Monte Morris's hands. It's worked very well so far in 2 Mountaineer wins. But the thing you love about this team, the seniors, and particularly Morris, is they have input into the strategy. Listen in.
Hey, Carter's guarding me way up here, bro. Y'all got to do a good job at setting it so he got to go around and not just straight to it. So kind of flat, kind of, so he got to come around and go.
The players were also having great input into the West Virginia huddle just there, Fran. They were getting on Issa Ahmad. Tariq Phillip really encouraging his teammate in a positive way. You've got to get more involved. As I look across the stat line for Ahmad, zeros across the board except 3 turnovers.
Deonte Burton floats one to Darrell Bowie.
They may be slowing Morris down, but when you have the X factor like Burton, the versatility, he's causing major problems for that West Virginia defense.
Here's Issa Ahmad. Still with zeros in the box score. Monte Morris pinned against the glass by Carter. The follow, though, is there. Guess who? Darrell Bowie.
Remember, Bob, this program has been built in large part over the last 6 years with transfers, and Bowie tonight making his presence felt.
Darrell Bowie's in double figures. January 11th, he scored 13 against Oklahoma State. He went all the way until the Big 12 championship to find double figures again. He had 13 against Oklahoma State in the quarters, and he's got 10 in a row for Iowa State. It's amazing. In March, the unlikeliest heroes all of a sudden simply appear, and Darrell Bowie's been that for Iowa State.
And I think one of the reasons he's been able to step up is those seniors, they talk to these younger guys, and Bowie's not a young guy, he's a 5th-year guy, but he's new to winning, and they help him.
Ahmad fouled by Burton, shooting a 3.
Burton got lost on the weak side, and he didn't realize Ahmad was behind him.
The double-double that Issa Ahmad had against Kansas State in the semis was the first of his career.
I want you to watch Burton now. Watch him fall asleep, and that leads to the hustle, but worse for Iowa State, the foul.
Solomon Young back in. Darrell Bowie to the bench. It's like a curtain call. Two of three for Issa Ahmad. The bench has scored the last 18 points for Iowa State. Burton flips one up, won't go, but a turnover. Bad decision by Daxter Miles. A fight for the ball, and it looks like Solomon Young may have just picked up the foul. Let's take a look at the SEC tournament in Nashville. Kentucky and Arkansas, they'll play in the title game tomorrow at 1 Eastern. Kentucky, they had a battle today against Alabama.
They sure did. Freshman De'Aaron Fox was outstanding. Kentucky's going into the NCAA tournament. A lot of questions about them, but right now they just want to win an SEC tournament title.
Tariq Phillip picks up his dribble, 5 to shoot. Issa Ahmad has his pocket picked by Morris.
Smart. Morris didn't have anything. He just pulled it out.
Monte Morris has dribbled the clock all the way down to 5. He leans in, connects.
Murder in the mid-range. That mid-range pull-up murder.
Tom's got a new shirt on today.
What happened to West Virginia's inside game that they started with?
Tariq Phillip hits a nice pull-up, but you're right, the bigs haven't touched it much in the post the last 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I think the defense has collapsed, and West Virginia, much like yesterday, reluctant to just pull the trigger from deep until they get late in the clock.
Morris with 3 to shoot. He's going to have to fade away. Got it! Tariq Phillip from the corner, right in front of the Iowa State bench, and he had something to say to the bench after he knocked it down.
Good-natured woofing both ways.
About a 3-second differential. Eight to shoot. Morris for 3. Wow! Good if it goes from midcourt. Off the mark for Daxter Miles. And it's a 6-point Iowa State lead at halftime. And Monte Morris has 11. Let's go to Holly.
Well, Coach Brohm, your starters came out, and it felt like they were almost too keyed up to start. Did you give them a breath to kind of get it together?
Yeah, I don't know if it was tentative or what it was, but we weren't attacking the way we needed to, and we were too slow getting into things and gave up a couple open threes, but our bench provided us a great lift. Nick Babb, Donovan, Darrell Bowie, and then when Monte got in now, he was really good down the stretch, but we're doing a great job defensively, holding him to 29 points.
You've done a good job defensively inside. What is it you're doing against their bigs that's minimized that?
Just trying to be as physical. We're just really been preaching gaps the last 24 hours, trying to really keep the ball in front of us and then rebound.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Holly.
Here's what we got to look forward to, Bob, in the second half. Take a look. Defensive Player of the Year in the Big 12, one of the best point guards in the country. Clock running down, he hits, but West Virginia will respond. And take a look at Tariq Phillip and watch his reaction when he makes this shot. He's going to let you know. We'll be back for 20 more minutes.
And we'll be back with Adnan Burke and Miles Simon. They'll be from a possible Big 12 title. They've got a 6-point lead against a West Virginia team that, Fran, last night we saw not take a lead from the time the game was 8-7 West Virginia until the final possession. So they certainly have it in them to not only win this game, but shut down Monte Morris.
Well, they really do. And in terms of shutting down Monte Morris, they've done that in the first 2 games. And tonight early, same strategy. Keep the ball out of his hands as much as possible. They had 4 different defenders shade him in that first half. And then Monte Morris had some suggestions for his coach.
Hey, Carter's guarding me way up here, bro. Y'all got to do a good job at setting it so he got to go around and not just straight to it. So kind of flat kind of, so he got to come around.
That's the trust factor between player and coach. And down the stretch, he had more room to operate. And he's got a 11, and boy, are they coming a big time because now the pressure falls back on the Mountaineers as Mom loves it.
Monte Morris, with and without on the court tonight. Well, obviously he has a major impact, as you know he would, but the bench has more than held their own when he has been out. 5 of 6, especially for those bench players when Monte Morris, Holly's been on the bench.
Well, the bench came in and was outstanding. 18 points for them. They've scored 62 off the bench here in Kansas City in the last few days. I checked in with Nick Weiler-Babb's older brother, Chris, who played for the Cyclones. He's in Germany watching little brother play right now. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, but he says, I love how confident and aggressive he's playing right now. He was just in the stands watching me play in Hilton South just a few years ago, and now there he is showing up for our family.
And showing up again, Elijah Macon on the offensive glass.
Yes, if you're West Virginia now, you got to go back to what worked early and what worked in 2 games, and that is pound it inside.
This West Virginia team is tough as nails, and we saw it last night. Deonte Burton buries a triple to start the second half.
You know he can be hot and cold, but he's been hot lately. But more important, West Virginia doesn't have one guy that can guard him.
Adrian sets up Miles. The back tap. Who's it off of? It goes to Iowa State.
There's the scrum. Hard to tell right there. Did it graze off Young? Here's a trap.
Bob Huggins thought so. Thomas. Another 3 for the Cyclones. Backdoor cut by Miles. Shot fake. Banks it home. Need true long. Tapped out by Young. A moment ago, the 10-point lead for Iowa State was their largest as Tariq Phillip comes back in. But West Virginia never gets rattled. You know, Fran, it's amazing. They just have a faith that they do what they do, they play the way they play, and at some point that's going to be good enough to get them over the top.
Yeah, they grind, and they particularly grind inside on offense, which is where the weakness of this Iowa State defense is.
Down to Adrian in the post. Stripped away by Burton. West Virginia crowd looking for a foul. Instead, it's Young. Met by Macon, and a foul called on Elijah Macon.
Well, I tried to check in with Coach Bob Huggins at the half. He came out and kind of slammed the scorer's table and said to no one in particular, why do they insist on doing the things they're not good at? I tried to follow up and ask him a few questions, and he said, honestly, Holly, I just don't feel like talking. He's not so happy right now.
Yeah, and part of it, Bob, honestly, is this atmosphere, the crowd, and the way this team at Iowa State has reacted after the slow start. They have taken the action to West Virginia, and that doesn't happen often.
Big shot from Dexter Miles.
He's capable. He had 23 last week in that win over the Cyclones.
In double figures for only the 11th time this season already today. Burton gives it up. Solomon Young blocked by Macon, and it's out off Young.
How about these guys attacking the basket? And Macon said, no way. Watch the dump off. And he meets him at the summit.
West Virginia's got 5 blocks. Iowa State has 11 steals. So both teams doing defensively what they do best. Tariq Phillip. Yes.
Tough shot. Phillip was big yesterday down the stretch when they finally unlocked the key to their offense.
Burton lost it. Somehow gets it back. Step back 3.
Can't guard him. Because if you play up on him, he'll drive by Adrian. Of course, we've seen that all season, right? Gotta get something inside if you're West Virginia.
Macon fighting with Young for position. Instead, it's Tariq Phillip. Falling away from the goal, right to Burton. Mitru Long tumbled down. Technical foul. And Bob Huggins can't believe it.
Obviously, Bob Huggins disagreeing with the call. He wanted a foul. Watch the top of your screen.
ESPN's exclusive.
Away, still fuming about the technical foul call. And what we believe the call was, the officials saw Tariq Phillip get together with Mitru Long. There was a trip. And immediately afterwards, Doug Sermons called a technical foul. Matt Thomas shooting those free throws as we speak. And you went out, Fran, a moment ago and spoke with John Higgins, one of the officials. Any clarity?
No. He said there was a technical foul on Coach Huggins, but he said it wasn't his call, so he didn't elaborate. I think they might have, to Holly's point earlier, they might have missed it. They might have thought there was a trip on one of the players, and they saw Huggins react, and I don't know why he was teed.
Obviously, it was inadvertent, seemingly, between Tariq Phillip and Mitru Long. Fadeaway is there for Deontay Burton, and Iowa State adds to their lead after what looked to be a pretty tough technical foul given to West Virginia's Bob Huggins.
You saw Burton, remember what he said, how do you guard him? That time he just took the defender into the lane.
Bolden hits a 3.
How about his moxie? He's in for one reason, Bob, to shoot the 3 ball.
Monte Morris in trouble. Burton bails him out, then throws it away.
This is good for West Virginia. Can they get the game in a scramble mode? Because Iowa State offensively is in a good rhythm. Watch Bolden.
He tries again. That's a brick.
Now, he didn't need to shoot that one. The play was designed for him, but he was too closely defended by Thomas.
Matt Thomas, short on the pull-up, follows his own miss. Macon. That won't go. Mitru Long's got the rebound. Naz Mitru Long throws it behind Burton. Bolden picks it up. Cruises in. Burton swats it away. Foul call. That's the second on Burton.
Watch Burton. He was clean at the top, but a lot of body. He made contact at the bottom. That's a foul. Great at the top, but the momentum takes him into the offensive player. Good call, in my opinion. Vito Bolden only played 6 minutes a game this year, but we saw his highlight reel when he scored 17 in 10 minutes at Oklahoma.
Archie Bender and Brandon Watkins back in the game for the Mountaineers. And now Tavon Myers will replace Bolden. So Bob Huggins with the press philosophy, obviously going as deep into the bench as he can to try and keep up the intensity of his defense against Iowa State.
And hope that in the next 5 minutes they start to wear Iowa State down. We've seen a couple of sloppy turnovers by the Cyclones recently.
Burt steps back. Yes.
There's nobody in the Big 12 that can guard him when he's playing like this.
Tariq Phillip, he's fouled. And Burton just picked up his third.
I like that. That's a senior move by Phillip. He knows the coach was upset. He knows there was a technical foul call, which in my mind was a little iffy. So what do? You take it to the basket and you make the officials blow the whistle if there's contact.
Darryl Bowie at the table. He's going to replace Burton, who has 3 fouls. So you would think this is a big moment in the game for West Virginia. Deonte Burton has 12-10 already in the second half. And as you said, Fran, he's probably the most difficult matchup of maybe any player in this league. What kind of headway, down by 10 now, can West Virginia make with Burton on the bench?
It should be good, because now it's going to go back to Morris scoring some points, which he did in the first half. Remember, Long and Thomas have been pretty quiet so far.
Morris for 3. Right back to him. Cruz is in for 2. Watkins, bad pass. Mitru Long stepped on the end block. 12-point lead for Iowa State in the Big 12 championship and the American championship, the Frontier Communications American Championship. And Hartford, SMU has moved on with a win over UCF. Cincinnati and UConn for the other spot. Big shot from the wing by Javon Carter.
Great dime that time by Tavon Myers. They went corner to corner on that play. Good ball movement.
Monte Morris takes the bump, and he'll go to the line.
What's that last play, Bob? They went inbounds under. They went corner. Watch Myers drive it, kick it right back to Carter, who was the inbounder. Well done. Myers is a spark plug.
That foul on Saad Konate, that's his second. Monte Morris and Jeff Hornacek, the only two players in Iowa State history with 1,000 points, 600 assists, 200 steals. Jeff Hornacek's numbers hanging in the rafters at Hilton Coliseum, and won't be too long before the 11 of Monte Morris is hanging right there next to him.
Unfortunately, it's going to take 15 years because that's a bylaw of the athletic department. Hey, Jamie Pollard, Mr. Athletic Director, change that. Nice.
Plus the foul for Tavon Myers.
He's been the energy guy all year. JUCO leading scorer 2 years ago. Look at the finish right there. Didn't play much last year, Bobby. Was the 5th guard in a 4-guard rotation.
Boy, lost it, somehow found it again and got it to go off the glass. And that foul, the second on Matt Thomas.
That young man went from Brooklyn, New York to Williston, North Dakota.
Darrell Bowie with the lob. Solomon Young throws it down.
He's turning into Monte Morris. You see that smile?
Myers hands it off, and Konate travels.
Welcome back, Darrell Bowie. Young man sat the bench, didn't keep his head down, and now trying to get a Big 12 tournament title. Solomon Young, the freshman, on the finish.
On March 17th, what if she...
Now from Iowa State is something that started over the summer for Steve Prohm. He had his team read this book called Legacy. It's about the famous team in New Zealand called the All Blacks. Let me read you one quick line. Collective character is vital to success. Focus on getting the culture right and the results will follow. When their season looked like it was on the ropes in mid-February, the character of this team got together. They have now won 9 of their last 11 games, and it's the seniors who are trying to leave that lasting legacy, guys.
Be true long. One of those seniors comes up short. There is a culture to this Iowa State program.
And there really is. It started with Fred Hoiberg. They play a unique style in terms of the small ball, shoot a lot of threes, but the character has been special. Last possession, West Virginia went to the zone, which is what turned the game around last night at about the same time. 12 minutes to go, second half.
Shot clock winding down. Javon Carter splits a double team, lost it. Adrian found it. Issa Ahmad buries a jumper with 1 second on the shot clock.
All right, Bob, let's see if the changing defense rattles Iowa State a little bit. They're 0 for 1 so far.
True long, wide open. Is that a shot you can live with the 1-3-1?
Absolutely. 2 good looks by Mitru Long.
Carter. Long rebound. Here comes Monte Morris. Gives it up. Weiler Babb. Right back to Morris. Blocked by Issa Ahmad. Morris recovers. And he'll reset for Iowa State.
You can see the slides in the zone. They play really high. Corners are open. Got to move the ball.
Weiler Babb. Out to Morris. Long rebound. Bowie's got it. Has his pocket picked though. Good hands by Phillip, but it's recovered in the corner by Bowie. Bowie fades away off the top of the backboard. It's a shot clock violation. The 1-3-1 might make this game interesting.
It is. So far it has. Iowa State solved the man-to-man puzzle, the press puzzle. Now they've got to solve the 1-3-1 puzzle.
They haven't been able to solve the Deonte Burton puzzle, at least in the second half. He's now back in. How does that impact things and how you can attack that zone?
He can catch it inside in the middle. He can catch it outside. He can score from everywhere on the court, but the ball movement's got to be better.
Carter, recovered by Adrian, a near turnover. Macon, that's blocked. Into the third row from Darryl Bowie.
What a night for Darryl Bowie. You mentioned it, Bob. In federal witness protection for most of the Big 12 season. And then in this tournament, with his final college games on the line, he's stepping up.
Carter from the corner. Issa Ahmad gets it to go on the reverse.
Well, he really hustled for that. Thomas, good inside position.
Allowing the flyby is Jackson. That's the first bucket for Iowa State against the 1-3-1.
He's such a good shooter. Adrian had to chase him off the line. And sometimes that mid-range shot is difficult.
Now Jackson is called for the hand check foul on the drive by Javon Carter. Team foul number 4 on Iowa State. The second on Donovan Jackson.
Watch Adrian now. Watch him close quickly because Carter, red hot, keeps his feet down, steps in and knocks the shot down. And that started, why? Because Burton got the ball in the middle.
Quick cut by Issa Ahmad.
Now Adrian's at the top. Gives him more length.
Thomas for 3. Left alone. And he made West Virginia pay. Immediately, Bob Huggins turned to his bench, told Javon Carter, get right back in the game. Now Carter sits back down. Phillip. That 3 won't go. Thrown away by Bowie. 7.5 minutes remaining in the Phillips 66 Big 12 championship. Iowa State trying to win the title for the 3rd time in the last 4 years.
Like about them, if you're going to, or don't like if you're going to play them, is they've won 8 out of 9 playing their best basketball of the season. And they are a difficult matchup for some teams, but teams with size can give them difficulty as well. And to that point, if you're West Virginia now, I just think you have to go back inside with Amat, Macon, and Adrian.
And it goes as Macon faces up on Deonte Burton. Came up short. Donovan Jackson crosses over, hit the underside of the rim. He was out of control.
West Virginia got it deep, Bob, but Macon, who's finishing lately, just couldn't make that shot.
Foul on the floor called on Donovan Jackson. That's his 3rd. And Iowa State now down to 1 more foul to give. West Virginia has only committed 3 fouls so far here in the second half. See how that factors in if at some point they need to foul.
Right. Still a lot of time. They'll probably foul a couple more times. And if they can't post it in there, we know that Myers and Miles can drive it in there.
Bacon, this time he gets it to go.
Yeah, that's his shot, and he's been making that the second part of the Big 12 season.
Trulong.
Well, he's missed 3 from that side of the court. They're good looks. Go back inside if you're West Virginia.
Trulong commits the foul. Good shot fake by Tavon Myers, so he'll head to the free throw line to shoot a couple and try and cut the lead down to 6.
Watch Myers now. He's going to bring that ball up a little bit right to the eyes. He's going to wait till Trulong breaks that verticality play, and he jumps straight up, gets the 2 free throws coming up. Remember, this guy saved West Virginia at Texas with that career high 16.
Burton with the rebound. Iowa State's largest lead was 12. It's back down to 7. 6 minutes to go. Burton through traffic. Wildly off the backboard. Numbers for West Virginia. Myers will attack. Finishes with the left hand. West Virginia within 5.
And that defense has definitely got Iowa State out of sync. Same thing like last night.
Monte Morris calls a timeout. We'll come right back to the Phillips 66 Big 12 Championship in a moment.
ESPN's exclusive.
Exactly what makes West Virginia, West Virginia. Last night, they led for less than 90 seconds. They led when it was 8-7 in the first half. Their next lead was the final, 51-50.
They have a future Hall of Fame coach who last night, with 12 minutes to go, completely changed their defense. They went to the 1-3-1. At about the same time tonight, they did the same thing. Iowa State, 2 for 10, 5 points. And West Virginia has obviously cut into that lead.
Well, keep in mind that heroic comeback last night was late into the night. They didn't leave here until about 11:30 p.m. Iowa State has about a 5-hour rest and recovery head start on West Virginia. But I talked with the strength and conditioning coach of the Mountaineers. He said the guys have been preparing for this moment all season. They have tremendous depth. 10 guys play 11 or more minutes a game, guys. They should have the legs to try to finish this against Iowa State.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Holly. And the one thing we've seen from Bob Huggins, he's not afraid to play any of the 11 at any time during the game.
Morris, shot clock winding down, barely draws iron. Offensive rebound to Solomon Young.
Can't do that if you're West Virginia. You force a bad shot and you allow the freshman to make a hustle play.
Miles can't get the bounce. Loose ball. It belongs to West Virginia. Tavon Myers, nice crossover, but couldn't finish.
Steve Prohm trying to orchestrate an adjustment versus his defense.
Monte Morris, yes.
Lulled him to sleep.
Foul called in the lane. It looks like that's going to go against Solomon Young. That's his second.
Take a look. Look how extended the defense is. They're in the passing lane, so Morris says, hey, I'll do it myself. I'll just take it to the lane.
Team foul number 7 on the Cyclones, so it's a 1-and-1 for Elijah Macon. Doesn't get the roll. Issa Ahmad kept it alive, but it goes to Iowa State. Zach Konate back in for a frustrated Macon.
Same thing, Adrian playing wide, he gets a steal.
Takes it away from Burton. Doesn't get it to go, but there's Tavon Myers with a good hustle play.
How about Nate Adrian? He got split the previous play, but he stayed high in the passing lane and came up with a big steal.
Matt Thomas. In and out, and right back in again. He's got 12.
And every coach in the Big 12 knows how good Matt Thomas is.
Ahmad will drive it and draw the foul on Solomon Young. Last night, West Virginia, in the last 4 minutes, came back to win the game. Can they put on ESPN? Reese Davis with a variety of experts, including Jay Billis and Dick Vitale. They'll break down each and every region. Starts off with SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt at 5:15. We reveal the bracket, and then all of the breakdown that you need, 7 p.m. and beyond. Also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Issa Ahmad, another miss at the line. West Virginia's now 6 for 12. And they've missed 3 in a row. Bible Shoes in here with Fran Fraschilla and Holly Rowe. Another miss and a rebound by Solomon Young. He's trapped. Burton gets it ahead to Mitru Long.
Unless you have a layup, I think you want to use a little clock right now. And it looks like West Virginia's gone back man-to-man.
Mitru Long goes around Adrian.
Mitru Long knew immediately he had the mismatch. He waited to spread the floor and he got to the rim.
Tavon Myers is held.
The last drive to the hoop is nothing easy for Naz Long. Keep in mind, he's coming back from hip surgery to both labrums, where he had to have that hip socket reformed and repaired. He had to go over 2 weeks without even walking. He had 4 months of excruciating rehab. He has gone above and beyond to get back on the floor with this team for this year after sitting out last year. And boy, is his contribution felt. Naz Long trying to join his brother Elijah Long, who's already into the NCAA tournament with his St. Mount Mary's team.
And another miss at the line. As West Virginia's hurting themselves at the strike. Monte Morris, too strong. Tavon Myers attacks the goal and scores.
Big play. That was a potential 5-point play right there. I think if I were Morris, I would have pulled it out, but they're playing with so much confidence right now, Bob. You got to take what the defense gives you.
Reach in foul on Tavon Myers.
Myers has been a big factor in this little bit of a comeback. Watch him in the open court.
That was only the 4th team foul on West Virginia, so still 2 more to give.
And I think you got to give him quickly.
The lob. Barton the finish! Chance for a 3-point play for Issa Ahmad. Big plays being made at the rim at both ends.
What have we said, Bob? He's unguardable. How do you guard that?
If you're picking the Sports Center top 10, I think you mark the tape. Issa Ahmad has to make a free throw. Can't do it.
Have to foul, Bob. That's right. There's one. And you have to give another one so that you can make it a free throw contest.
Free throw contest right now spells doom for West Virginia. They are 6 of 15 at the line.
Well, Deonte Burton is one of the most fun players to watch on this court. I call it the Burton bounce. He jumps out of the gym at 250 pounds. He can get up and get down just like he did right there. The Burton bounce making him hear it here in Hilton South.
Long with the scoop. Carter draws the foul on Burton. Just about ended up on top of Deonte Burton. So more free throws coming for Jevon Carter.
This is amazing, Bob. Watch this. Great pass. Watch Burton just hang. Man, 6'5", 7-foot wingspan.
West Virginia has missed 6 in a row at the free throw line.
Mountaineers have 5 team fouls, so they're going to press immediately, and they've got to foul immediately if they don't get a steal.
The made free throw allows them to set the press up. Burton in some trouble. Heaves it across court to Mitru Long. It went right past the fingertips of Issa Ahmad.
Yeah, Iowa State wants to use clock. You have to foul.
Burton flips it home. Carter for 3. Yes. 1:10 to go. Here comes the press, down 8 for West Virginia. Matt Thomas to Mitru Long. He'll attack the goal. Gives it up. And a foul call. And Macon's hurt. Macon called for the foul, and he took a shot.
Number 45. Elijah Macon, personal foul number 2, team foul number 6. And not Macon, Wesley Clayton for the Mountaineers.
Under a minute to go.
Got to foul because otherwise they're going to use 30 seconds.
Mitru Long looks up at the shot clock, and now you don't foul. Shot clock down to 11.
Should have fouled a long time ago.
Mitru Long gives it up to Burton. And with 3 seconds on the shot clock, Deonte Burton goes to the foul line, and a ton of time comes off for West Virginia.
When you're down 8, Bob, with a minute, time is the enemy and not the score. Bob Huggins is saying he fouled out on an injury on the court. The opposing coach can pick one of the 4 remaining players. Bob Huggins is saying, can we do that? And the rule is no. Because he fouled out, you can substitute anybody you want.
Donovan Jackson, an 80% free throw shooter, though, missed the first. 9-point lead for Iowa State, 33 seconds away from a Big 12 championship.
They're going to go a little zone just to slow the action down.
Ahmad needs to put one up. Lost it on the baseline. Ends up out of bounds, and it's over to Iowa State.
Let me tell you who made that play. Solomon Young has been a starter the last 8 or 9 games, and he's made an incredible difference for a team that plays small because he is not afraid to protect the rim and do the dirty work. The freshman from Sacramento Tip your cap to him.
Morris back to Thomas. You have to foul now if you're West Virginia. Down to 15 seconds to go. 10 count. But there's only 11 seconds left in the game.
Third time in 4 years, Bob. It's been great being with you this season. You're going to see something special in the next 12 seconds.
Carter can't hit the three. A rebound pulled down by Monte Morris. They call this place Hilton South, the Sprint Center in Kansas City, for a reason. One of the most dedicated fan bases in America. Two seconds to go. Carter, one more runner. It goes down, but it doesn't matter. Iowa State, for the third time in 4 years, they're Big 12 champions. Both of these teams will be very dangerous when their seasons continue next week. Very interesting to see where West Virginia and Iowa State end up on Selection Sunday.
Absolutely. Two different styles of play. The interesting thing about this championship is, remember, West Virginia won twice in the regular season and dominated with their style of play. And tonight, the Cyclones dominated with their